Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating collision, the massive artificial intelligence supercycle crashing right into the deeply complex, sometimes messy world of global logistics and procurement. Now, right off the bat, I want to be crystal clear about what we're doing here today. We are building an analytical forecast. Think of it as a risk assessment tool built specifically for decision makers. It is definitely not a crystal ball, and it's not some guaranteed prophecy. Just like a weather forecast doesn't absolutely guarantee it's going to rain, but it does tell you whether you should probably pack an umbrella. So the scenarios we're going to explore today, they're designed to help you prepare for a few very different possible futures in the supply chain landscape.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap. We've got 6 steps today. The catalyst, the current trend, an extrapolation of that data, 3 plausible scenarios, key indicators to track in the real world, and finally, some strategic questions for your team.
Starting with Section 1, the catalyst, inefficiency meets the AI supercycle. To really understand why AI is perfectly positioned to completely re-architect industrial procurement, we first have to establish the stakes, and the stakes are high. According to a report highlighted in Retail News India, retailers are losing over $200 million annually just due to logistics inefficiencies. Let that sink in for a second. $200 million. That's not just the unavoidable cost of doing business. That is a massive, glaring financial incentive for operational change. You see, we've spent the last 15 years optimizing supply chains for a relatively stable world. But as recent geopolitical and market shocks have clearly shown us, well, that stability is gone. So how exactly is the market responding to this $200 million bleed?
Well, they're responding by pouring capital into technology. As outlined recently by The Motley Fool, we are right in the thick of an AI supercycle, and hundreds of billions of dollars are just flooding into every single layer of this specific AI tech stack. You've got NVIDIA providing the crucial GPU hardware backbone for data centers. Then you have TSMC dominating the manufacturing layer by churning out these high-yield 3-nanometer silicon wafers, which, by the way, are what actually make those AI chips possible. And on top of all that, you have software companies like Palantir building the customer-facing AI applications that ingest just massive amounts of data to optimize manufacturing supply chains. Basically, this entire stack is building the foundational architecture required to solve that giant $200 million inefficiency we just talked about.
Moving on to Section 2, current trend, from reactive to predictive. So what is actually changing on the ground right now? Well, we're seeing early adopters actively shift their procurement operations away from a reactive, highly manual function, where, let's be honest, teams spent all day cleaning fragmented data and chasing down quotes, toward a proactive, predictive model. But it is not without friction. Now, what's really interesting here is a concept from Rob DeSantis, the CEO of Orchestra. He points out that procurement culture is naturally risk-averse, and for good reason, right? Their entire job is to protect supply continuity. A failed tech experiment doesn't just look bad, it can jeopardize supplier relationships or completely halt production. So they naturally push back against the bets that the finance department wants to make. This creates what DeSantis calls a turbo lag, a multi-year delay in adoption driven by fear and conservatism. But as he notes, the organizations that actually manage this risk and push through that lag, those are the ones that capture massive step change value, not just tiny incremental gains.
And we can see exactly how companies are actively navigating this turbo lag in the real world. Take the European logistics group Nova Post, for example. According to Interfax Ukraine, they rolled out an AI-first strategy, but they were smart. They started in a safe, contained environment. Step 1 was deploying AI agents to conduct primary HR interviews across 16 different languages. Very clever. Once that proved successful, allowing candidates to interview 24/7, they moved to Step 2, using those agents to analyze and verify complex document flows. Now that trust is built, they are pushing right into Step 3, applying those very same AI agents directly into their core logistics planning and dispatching. They effectively built trust in the back office before ever letting AI touch the front lines of the supply chain.
Section 3. Extrapolating the AI trend. Okay, so we're going to move from established source data to extrapolated data, just to see where this technological momentum is logically heading. Let's compare them. Our source data shows that AI agents are currently automating routine administrative tasks and basic document verification. But if this trend continues, and that is the absolutely crucial conditional phrase here, assuming this bottom-up adoption persists, AI is going to move entirely out of the back office. If we extrapolate this out, we are looking at a near future where AI agents fully and autonomously route core global supply chains, evaluate incoming quotes, and even dynamically negotiate with suppliers in real time.
Which brings us to Section 4, Scenarios, Plausible AI Futures in Logistics.
Based on the data from our sources, we've built 3 plausible, conditional scenarios. These hinge on varying levels of external market volatility and internal corporate adoption. Again, none of these is a guaranteed outcome. Scenario 1 is our baseline adoption. The condition here is pretty simple. Current trends hold steady, and that turbo lag persists across the industry. The assumption is that procurement teams will just continue prioritizing traditional supply stability and risk aversion over rapid AI integration. So what's the outcome? AI remains largely siloed in safe administrative tasks. Companies will definitely see some incremental efficiency gains, and yes, they'll avoid major self-inflicted disruptions. But they're going to completely fail to capture that step change value, meaning that massive $200 million industry inefficiency is going to persist.
Scenario 2 explores a regionalization shift. The condition for this one is severe global trade volatility. Think unexpected tariffs, port strikes, a broader push toward deglobalization. The core assumption here is that traditional global routes become fundamentally unreliable, forcing companies to immediately redesign their sourcing maps. And this brilliantly illustrates a point made by Damian Narrow of Takeda Pharmaceuticals in the source material. If global shocks continue, AI isn't just a nice-to-have optimization tool, it becomes a literal survival tool. Under this outcome, AI is urgently deployed to continuously monitor and dynamically evaluate local and regional suppliers, purely to ensure continuity when the global lines inevitably break down.
Finally, Scenario 3 looks at autonomous procurement. The condition here is that rapid, bottom-up AI adoption successfully overcomes the turbo lag. The assumption, which is backed by insights from Mavav Matabusi at BP, is that frontline workers actively embrace AI because it genuinely makes their specific workflows easier. They do this by using short, agile concept labs to prove the value fast. Provided this frontline adoption actually happens, the outcome is the emergence of truly frictionless sourcing. AI digital twins will autonomously evaluate thousands of market factors, capture the invaluable tribal knowledge of veteran buyers before they retire, and directly mitigate that $200 million loss by compressing cycle times down from weeks to mere days.
Section 5. Key indicators to track.
So how do you know which of these 3 scenarios is actually unfolding? As an industry analyst or a logistics leader, you need concrete signals in the real world to bridge this forecast to your day-to-day decisions. Here are 4 key indicators you should be tracking right now. First, monitor geopolitical shifts affecting global tariff policies. A sudden spike in tariffs strongly pushes us towards Scenario 2, that regionalization shift. Second, watch the success rates of your internal AI pilot programs. If frontline workers are rejecting them, well, we're stuck in Scenario 1's baseline. Third, look out for vendor announcements of autonomous AI agents moving into core logistics, just like we saw with Nova Post. And finally, track changes in how often companies perform supplier risk assessments. A shift from periodic manual surveys to continuous automated AI monitoring, that is a massive signal that predictive procurement is officially taking hold.
And finally, Section 6. Strategic questions.
I really want to circle back to something crucial here. This forecast is simply a preparation tool. The ultimate responsibility for the final decision rests squarely with you, the decision maker, because you possess the necessary on-the-ground context that no forecast ever could. To that end, I want to leave you with 3 strategic, slightly provocative questions to ask yourself and your teams this week. Number 1, is our procurement culture fundamentally driven by the desire for cost savings, or is it secretly driven by deep-seated risk aversion? Number 2, are our current supply chains built for a world of optimization or a world that suddenly requires immediate resilience? And number 3, can our current data infrastructure actually support continuous, real-time AI monitoring, or are we still relying on outdated periodic spreadsheet surveys? The honest answers to those questions will dictate exactly how ready your organization is for the AI supercycle.
Here are the sources that provided the data and insights for today's explainer. As always, everything we've discussed is grounded in transparent reporting, ranging from deep industry analysis to frontline financial news. Remember, the future of logistics won't belong to those who can magically predict the future perfectly. It belongs to those who prepare for multiple realities. Stay curious, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.